I'm 92 years old, and my body doesn't work the way it used to. That's not the confession. The confession is that I spent 50 years treating my body like a machine I could ignore until it broke down. And by the time I understood what I'd lost, most of it was already gone. I'm telling you this because I watched my brother die at 73, unable to stand without help. I watched my wife spend her last decade in a chair she hated, and I'm watching myself now, still here, still moving, wondering why I got lucky when I did almost nothing to deserve it. This isn't about supplements or miracle routines. This is about the smallest, stupidest thing I ignored for half a century, and how that ignorance cost me and everyone around me more than I understood until it was too late to matter. I worked in accounting for 41 years, desk job. I sat from 8 in the morning until 5:30 at night, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I'd come home, eat dinner, sit in front of the television until 10, then go to bed. Weekends I'd do yard work if I had to, but mostly I sat. I read the paper, I watched football, I existed in chairs. I didn't think about it. Nobody did back then. You worked, you rested, you worked again. Moving your body wasn't part of the equation unless you were an athlete or a laborer. I was neither. I was a man who sat in an office and calculated other people's taxes. My colleague Ed worked with him for 19 years. He was the same way. Sat at the desk next to mine. Ed was 56 when he had his first heart attack. Survived it. Came back to work 6 weeks later. Sat right back down in that chair. Didn't change a thing. I remember asking him if the doctor told him to exercise, and he said yeah, but he didn't have time. He had 3 kids in college. He couldn't afford a gym membership, and he couldn't afford to stop working overtime. Ed had his second heart attack at 59. Didn't survive that one. I went to his funeral. I sat there and I thought, that's terrible, that's really terrible, and then I went back to work and sat in my chair for another 18 years. My younger sister, Margaret, she was always active. Not in a gym way, just in a moving way. She walked every morning, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. She'd call me and tell me I should join her, that it would be good for me. I'd say, yeah, maybe, but I never did. I thought she was being a nag. I thought she had too much free time. She was a teacher, had summers off. What else was she going to do? Margaret's 87 now, still walks every morning. She's got a hip replacement and 2 bad knees, but she moves every single day. I asked her last year why she kept doing it when it hurt, and she said because the day she stops is the day she won't be able to start again. She learned that from watching our mother. Our mother stopped moving at 74, just stopped. Said her knees hurt too much, her back was too stiff, she'd earned her rest. She was dead at 79, not from anything specific, just from stopping. I didn't connect those things then. I didn't see the pattern. I saw individual people making individual choices, and I kept making mine, which was to sit still and let my body do whatever it was going to do without me. My wife Ann started having trouble with stairs when she was 68. She'd get winded halfway up. We lived in a 2-story house. Our bedroom was upstairs. At first she joked about it, said she was getting old. Then she stopped joking and just started breathing hard. Then one day she didn't come upstairs at all. She slept in the guest room on the first floor, said it was easier. I didn't push her. I didn't know how. I thought maybe it was normal. We were getting old. Things got harder. That's just how it worked. She stopped going outside much after that, stopped visiting her friend Carolyn, who lived 3 blocks away, said the walk was too much. Carolyn offered to pick her up. Ann said no, too much effort to get ready, to go out, easier to stay in. By 72, Ann barely left the house. By 74, she barely left her chair. She'd sit in the living room all day, reading or watching television, and I'd sit in my chair across from her, and we'd exist like that. 2 people who'd forgotten how to move. She got pneumonia at 76, died in the hospital 11 days later. The doctor said her lungs were weak, said if she'd been stronger, more active, she might have fought it off. I remember standing there in that hallway, staring at him and feeling my stomach drop into nothing. I thought I'd killed her, not directly, not with my hands, but by sitting next to her for 8 years and never once saying we should get up, we should walk, we should move, we should do something other than wait. I couldn't fix it. She was gone. I was 77 years old, standing in a hospital hallway, and I understood for the first time that I'd spent 50 years watching my body disappear, and I'd let hers disappear right next to mine. I went home to an empty house. I sat in my chair. I thought about staying there, just sitting until I stopped, the way my mother did, the way Anne did. But I didn't. I don't know why. Maybe guilt, maybe fear, maybe just stubbornness. I got up the next morning at 6:30. I put on my shoes. I walked to the end of the driveway and back. It took me 11 minutes. My knees hurt, my hips hurt, I was out of breath. I did it again the next day, and the next, every single morning. That was 15 years ago. I'm not telling you this because I'm some miracle. I'm not. I'm still old. I still hurt. My knees are shot. I've got arthritis in my hands and my spine. I take 7 medications. I walk with a cane on bad days. This isn't a success story. But I'm still here. I can still stand. I can still walk to the mailbox, to the kitchen, to the bathroom by myself. I don't need help getting dressed. I don't need someone to lift me out of bed. My neighbor, Robert, lived next door for 43 years. He's 89 now. Can't get out of his chair without his daughter helping him. I see her come over every morning. I see him sitting by the window, staring out, and I know what he's thinking because I almost became him. There's a guy I see at the grocery store sometimes, Daniel. He's got to be mid-70s, uses a motorized scooter. I watched him try to reach something on a shelf last month, and he couldn't. His arm wouldn't extend far enough. Someone had to help him. I saw his face when that happened. I've seen that face in the mirror. I'm not better than them. I'm just luckier. I started moving before I couldn't anymore. That's the only difference. Here's what I didn't understand until I was 77 years old, and it was almost too late. Your body doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't pause while you finish your career or raise your kids or get around to taking care of it. It just starts leaving, piece by piece, quietly. And by the time you notice, most of it's already gone. I thought I had time. I thought I'd start exercising when I retired, when I had more energy, when it felt like the right moment. I didn't understand that the right moment was 30 years ago, and the second right moment was yesterday, and the only moment I actually had was right then. Anne thought she had time, too. She thought she'd start walking again when her knees felt better, when the weather improved, when she had more motivation. She never got that moment. None of us do. I can't get her back. I can't get those years back. I can't undo 50 years of sitting still. My spine is curved. My joints are damaged. I've lost muscle I'll never rebuild. I'm 92. There's no fixing this body. I'm just trying to keep what's left. But you're not 92. Maybe you're 40. Maybe 60. Maybe 30. Maybe you're sitting in a chair right now reading this, and your body still works and you think you have time. You don't. I'm telling you that as someone who thought the same thing and was wrong. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not your father or your doctor. But I'll tell you what I wish I'd done, and maybe that'll mean something. If I could go back, I would have moved every single day. Not for an hour, not even for 30 minutes, just for 10. Just enough to remind my body it was still supposed to work. A walk around the block, some stretches in the living room, anything. I wouldn't have waited for motivation or energy or the perfect routine. I would have just moved. What I didn't understand was that you don't move because you feel good. You move so that one day you still can. You move so that when you're 70, 80, 90, you can still stand up by yourself. You can still walk to the bathroom. You can still live in your own body instead of being trapped in it. If I could go back, I would have made Anne move with me, not by forcing her, not by nagging, but by doing it myself and inviting her along, by making it easy, by saying, let's just walk to the mailbox together, let's just stand up during commercials, let's just do something other than sit here waiting to stop. What I didn't understand was that loving someone means helping them stay alive, not just keeping them comfortable. I kept Anne comfortable. I let her sit. I let her stop. I thought I was being kind. I wasn't. I was helping her disappear. If I could go back, I would have started 40 years sooner. I would have moved in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, when it didn't hurt yet, when my body could still build itself back. I wouldn't have waited until I was 77 and broken. I wouldn't have wasted 50 years sitting in a chair. What I didn't understand was that your body is the only place you'll ever live. You don't get another one. You don't get to trade it in. You just get this one, and it's your job to take care of it, and if you don't, it will leave you long before you die. I get up every morning at 6:30. I put on my shoes. I walk. Some days it's 10 minutes. Some days it's 30. Some days it's just to the end of the driveway. I don't do it because I like it. I do it because I'm 92 years old and I'm terrified of the day I can't. That's the confession. Not that I'm strong, not that I figured it out, just that I waited 50 years to do the smallest, simplest thing a person can do, and it cost me and everyone I loved more than I'll ever be able to say. I'm not going to be here much longer. That's not morbid. That's just math. 92 is old. I've got a couple years left if I'm lucky. Maybe less, but I'll spend them standing. I'll spend them moving, and I'll spend them wishing I'd started sooner. If you got something from this, I'm glad I told you. If you didn't, that's okay too. I'm just an old man talking into a screen. There are a couple books that meant something to me after Anne died. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. Not about exercise, but about how the body holds everything, even the things we ignore. Younger Next Year by Chris Crowley and Henry Lodge. I read it at 78. Wish I'd read it at 50. And Being Mortal by Atul Gawande, about what it means to live at the end, which is where I am now. If you want to leave a thought, I'll read it. If you don't, that's fine too. There are more stories like this here if you're interested. People my age, talking about the things we didn't understand until it was too late. Maybe one of them will mean something to you before it's too late for you. I'm going to go walk now. It's 6:30 in the morning. That's what I do. I hope you move today. That's all.